Good morning.
Morning.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
2025, completely gone. What are you hoping to do for 2026, man?
Trying to be number one, 2026.
Number one?
Yeah.
How many deals you trying to do?
52, which sounds like one a week, but it's not actually one a week.
Yeah, because you got to take 2 weeks vacation. You never take vacation though, do you?
No, but also January obviously is going to be slower than June.
Yeah.
So it's a lot in June, a lot towards the end of the year.
For sure.
Less in the beginning.
For sure. Well, first off, I want to introduce Brad. Brad is a business partner that we have on the team. Moved from Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Moved out to Northern Nevada because he wanted to be a little bit more outdoorsy. And Brad's way of being a little bit more outdoorsy is actually door knocking. He decided to move up here because the weather permits door knocking more. Vegas isn't really fun to door knock in 110 degrees, is it?
You could say that.
Yeah.
I'd rather the 110 than 3 feet of snow, but
hey, at least in Northern Nevada, we get all 4 seasons here, right?
Yeah.
So, you've absolutely kicked butt this last year with door knocking. What is kind of your process for door knocking for maybe agents that are looking into door knocking that haven't really tapped into that market at all? What's kind of your approach on that and your success?
Yeah, I mean, just do it. I mean, that's really it.
What's kind of the problems you see with door knocking, and maybe some things that you've kind of done to capitalize on that?
The number one problem in door knocking, the hardest door to knock, is your car door. Is getting out of your car and doing it.
I love it.
That's the hardest. So
as far as door knocking is concerned, you don't have anything special that's been working for you.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've worked out things that work a little bit better than others, but everything's going to be based on your personality, and it's going to be different for everyone.
Absolutely.
But, my thing I like is, but just bottom line, you just got to do it.
You just got to do it.
Get out there.
Kind of go with the flow of things. Yeah, I mean, the reality is I think a lot of agents are worried to actually do something. It's not, we say real estate's easy, it's just not, or real estate's simple. It's just not easy. Yep. And the reality is it is. A lot of our business partners really struggle to find their ways in the business, which is part of the reason why they joined the Allison Real Estate Group. Because they want somebody to be able to kind of point them in the right direction. With you already kind of had your direction figured out and what you want to capitalize on, which was door knocking, which is great. So I think that bleeds into anything. We have a lot of agents that want to do open houses, want to do social media, but then they have this kind of stage fright of actually doing it.
At the end of the day, the real estate business is the talking to people business. You're in the business of talking to people, and whether you're going to be calling people or door knocking or doing open houses or whatever it may be, we're in the business of talking to people, and you got to get out and talk to people.
Yeah. I mean, we got to know the market, got to know locations, got to know kind of what's going on in the market. What have you been seeing?
Market's been really interesting. So the last few years, we've had not a lot of sales, very low.
Yep. Market-wide, we haven't been doing a lot of sales. What have you been seeing lately?
So it's been slow. Market's been, we've had a lot less sales the past 2 or 3 years than we did during COVID time and pre-COVID time. We're down about like 40% from...
40% is a big number.
From the number of transactions we were doing during COVID.
Yep.
And about like 30-35% from...
something I noticed last month when we were looking at numbers for presenting to the team on our team meeting was that over the last 2 years, we haven't really seen much growth as far as sale price is concerned. So median sale price, it was actually even. It was the weirdest thing. Yep. And I think part of that is COVID market really increased values. I mean, we saw a massive increase in value quarterly, not even just annually. Obviously, it added to annually. But the reality is these people were coming in, waiving appraisal contingencies, paying over appraisals. We saw that massive change in our market. So now people are locked in. We call it the golden handcuffs, right? Because we have people that have 2-3% interest rates. They don't want to give those up. And even if they have a ton of equity in their house, they're going to move that equity into something with 6% interest, let's just say, and their mortgage is still going to double. So we call it the golden handcuffs because a lot of people are locked into incredible interest rates that we may never, ever see again. And even though they have a ton of equity in their house, they can't really leverage it to move into another asset and maintain the same mortgage payment. We just can't.
Ultimately, there's still a lot of ways to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Buying down the rate, or when you really think about what you're paying at the end of the day and how all the numbers work out at the end of the month, your PITI, your principal, interest, taxes, insurance, The one part of that is the interest that's going up.
Yep.
But even that, you're getting a tax deduction on everything else.
Absolutely.
So if you're going from a 2% to a 6%, congratulations, you just got a 4% tax deduction. Yeah, it sucks it's going to the bank, and it sucks your monthly payments going up, but at the end of the year, you're going to get that back.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a way of looking at it, plain and simple. A lot of the owners that I've been working with, they haven't even been leveraging, tax deductions in that way. I've actually been running more comps on rental values than I have been on actually sale values right now. And honestly, if you don't have an agent that's looking into that opportunity for you, they're dropping the ball in some way, shape, or form. Because most of the mortgage, the pitties, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance are actually less than what rental values are right now. So if you want to sit down and kind of look at the value of selling your house versus renting your house, right now might be actually a really good time to turn your first asset into an investment like we always dream of, right?
That's what I love doing. That's what I do. And a lot of the time I encourage it. I mean, I say to people a lot of the time, like, look, I'm a real estate agent. I make money when you transact. But at the end of the day, sometimes it just doesn't make sense to transact.
Correct.
If you could hold on to that asset and make it a rental. Not all homes make great rentals. Some homes make terrible rentals.
Absolutely.
But if you're in a home that could make a great rental and you got that low interest rate, you could take out some equity.
Leverage it.
Yep.
Leverage is king. Leverage is king. It's funny you actually bring that up, because a lot of people that I talk to, first-time home buyers specifically, is like, when is the right time to buy? When is the right time to buy?
Yesterday.
Well, some people say yesterday. Some people say
ago.
now.
Yeah.
My response to that is when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
When you're ready. Because real estate isn't necessary. It's a massive commitment. We all understand that. You've got a mortgage you don't want to forfeit on. Luckily, the Fair Lending Housing Act put a lot of regulations on protecting you as a consumer to make sure you're not getting any predatory lending stuff going on or anything like that. But the reality is when you're ready to buy an asset is the right time to buy. We're always stuck in this, I'm going to time the market thing. I'm going to wait for the market to drop. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Well, all those people that are sitting in 2019, 2018 that are sitting there going, oh, the market's too high. Well, the people who bought in 2019, 2020, they're sitting on $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 of equity right now. And the reality is it's the right time to buy is when you're ready, because we don't know what's going to happen to the market. Interest rates could drop down next year into 3.5%, and the market has a massive boom again that you could leverage in the future. Or you could buy a house today and then next year everything completely tanks. The beauty of that, though, is if the market tanks, is you're still locked into an asset that, as long as your income doesn't change overall with your job, you're going to be just fine handling and taking care of.
We've talked about that in the past, and how, look, nobody has the crystal ball, but back in 2010, 2011, 2012, there were so many people who were waiting on the sidelines saying, oh, the double dip recession's coming.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't remember that, but that was like all the thing was, oh, can't buy now because the double dip recession, prices are going to keep going way further down.
And what'd they do?
And what happened?
Yeah, I was comping out a couple properties in Dayton. They bought in 2011. It was a package deal. They actually bought 2 parcels for $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those properties are worth $450,000,
Mm-hmm.
around $450,000 now. It's pretty insane. So if you
buyers.
weren't saving while you were in kindergarten, you should have been saving this whole time.
The other thing is, look, if you're always on the sidelines, you're not going to be ready when the time is right.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are waiting and waiting and waiting, let's say, even in the worst time to buy homes in 2005, 6, 7,
Mm-hmm.
right at the top of the market, if you were just sitting on the sidelines saying, oh, we're in a bubble, we're waiting, you're probably the same person who didn't buy in 2010 because you still thought there was a bubble.
Absolutely.
And prices were going to go down. And not to mention, you couldn't get a loan in 2010, 2011 if you didn't have a high credit score from having owned a home in the past. Correct. Or something like that, from having a good banking relationship. If you're not in it, you're not going to be able to take advantage when it
Absolutely.
comes.
It's funny because I see a lot of statistics and people trying to guess what the market's going to do next year and the year after. And granted, will there be somebody who guesses it perfectly and they're going to write a book on it and stay on that high horse of they're going to sell the fact that they guess the market. But the reality is none of us truly know. All we can actually see is the way our market is reacting right now. Granted, we are in the middle of winter. Statistically speaking, the market does come down a little bit. Average days on market to sold goes up. A little bit tougher to sell a property, but I don't know about you, Brad, but I've been showing a ton of property and still I still have buyers.
I looked at it this morning, actually. In December, I had exactly 50 showings that I had scheduled.
It's insane.
And 15 of those were canceled because the day or two that the home came up on the market, it immediately got an offer.
Yeah, and that's something to take note of. I think a lot of properties right now that are sitting on the market, there's something going on with them. We always talk about marketing, price, and condition sells a property. Okay, so if you're looking at a property that's been on the market for 60 days, 90 days, the reality is either it's overpriced or the condition is lacking versus the other properties that are being sold. Okay, it doesn't mean that the property is in terrible condition or it's not the right. The reality is pricing, condition go hand in hand. The common misconception is, oh, if I remodel my bathroom, I'm going to get more value for my house. Well, yeah, you might, you definitely might, but
into it, though.
Exactly, that bathroom might cost you $50,000, $20,000. It doesn't matter what the number is. You're not going to get that return back. You're 100% return. Nope. Fun fact: what's the number one thing that actually gets a 100% return on your investment on
I know
property?
On a lot of websites they list garage doors.
Yep.
I don't think it's that simple, though. I don't think it's like if you have a nice garage door and you get
it's more about curb appeal than it is about a garage door, right?
I think if somebody drove into your garage door and you have a broken garage door with a big dent that's ugly, the curb appeal is going to be number one. But it's really going to depend, right? If you have a nice kitchen that, let's say, was 5 years old, bringing it up to that slightly newer, you're not going to get anything out of that.
Yep.
Versus if you got something from the 70s, you're going to get a lot higher return.
Yeah, I think the point is it doesn't necessarily ever. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't make sense to invest money into your asset that you're getting ready to sell because you're not going to get that return back out of it.
And you don't know what the buyer wants.
Correct. You paint your walls white. Well, the buyer actually really liked your red walls that were in your living room.
I think the most common one I see is flooring. People are like, oh, I have this older flooring. They want to update that. You don't know what the next buyer wants. You don't know. Some people love carpet, especially in the bedrooms.
Yep.
And some people are like, I hate carpet. I don't want it anywhere.
Yeah, the market's interesting. When I first was selling real estate, I showed a property right on Pyramid Highway. And the property itself was a very unique property, and it was awesome. But I learned my lesson. I learned a big lesson that day. We were walking in and looking at the house, and the traffic was so bad, we were like yelling at each other. Just walking through them, trying to explain to them the goods, the bads, the uglies of this property. And there were so many, what was that? And to me, I finally said, this is just, guys, I can get you into a house that doesn't have nearly as much traffic at this price point. That might be a newer property, whatever the pitch was of, hey, let's kind of go in a different direction. But those clients looked at me and said, Skylar, we love this house. We love this house.
I know it.
And I scratched my head because being, born and raised in Northern Nevada, most of the time, we're looking for that property that has peace and quiet. The property that doesn't have any, you can't even hear a mouse in a field. But these individuals, they grew up in a city. They went down to grandma's house in Chicago that was in downtown Chicago, and they loved as kids the sound of the sirens and the hustle and bustle because it was energy to them. They liked hearing that. So from there on out, I realized that just because it's something that I am into and I enjoy as an individual doesn't mean that everybody likes that.
Everyone wants something different. I mean, I would never live on a 200-acre whatever property. Yep. But some people love that.
I would take that all day long.
I would never.
Yeah.
I would much rather have a little condo with no yard at all.
Yep.
Everyone's different.
Prime example of everyone's looking for something different. And something that's really helped me with expanding my business and growing my business is understanding that exactly. Okay. My first buyer consultation appointment generally is meeting at a house. And I understand that house is probably not going to be the home that they're going to purchase. I am leveraging that house to find out truly what they are looking for. Price point, their why. Why are you moving? What is the incentive of moving? Why are you purchasing right now? What's important to you? Are you looking to expand your family? Are you looking to downsize? Are you looking for a hustle and bustle environment where there's a lot of energy around you? Are you looking for maybe some seclusion that's you're maybe looking to retire and you want some peace and quiet. And so when I look at property with clients specifically is I'm not necessarily there to sell someone on a house.
No.
As realtors, a lot of people think that I'm a salesperson. Nope. Granted, yes, I sell real estate, but most importantly, I'm here to build relationships. I'm not here to earn someone's business. I'm here to keep their business through building a strong relationship that is going to lead to a lifetime of opportunities.
I say to a lot of clients, if you don't like the house you're in, your whole life is going to suck. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel comfortable, if it's not the right size, if your payment isn't the right size, it's just going to flow into everything in your life and everything's going to suck.
Absolutely.
It has to be the right home for you.
My goal and what I say to my clients is that in 6 months after we close on a property, the last phone call I want to have is that they feel like I pushed them into an asset that they didn't want. So with that being said, my business approach is not pushing people in any way, shape, or form, unless time is of the essence, of course, and we have to get something done. But when we're at the stage of looking at property, I am there to talk about the goods, the bads, and the uglies. When I show a property, I'm walking around and saying, oh, they did an upgrade here. That's a great improvement. This looks really great. It was done well. I'm there to talk to them. Oh, there's a settling crack on that. Something to kind of look into and dive into. It might be nothing, okay? But if we are moving forward with a contract on this property, let's get some inspections completed just to make sure there's no settling going on or anything like that. Or I flat out have looked at people in the past and said, hey,
don't get this.
This is a big problem, okay? Even if we get money to correct this or the seller fixes this through escrow, you're probably going to have another problem with it in the future, right? I'm not there to sell a property to them. At the end of the day, my clients are the ones that make the decision on which property they want to move forward with. It's my job to negotiate the contract, get them through escrow in a smooth manner, and then celebrate with them at the very end, and hopefully gain their trust so I can get referrals in the future.
There was a home on the market maybe 2-3 months ago that I was sent this home by probably 20 different people I'm working with. Everybody wanted this home. And I showed it once. The home was like, you feel dizzy being inside of it. It was so lopsided.
Oh,
it was like completely falling off any foundation it had. It was, the house had to be torn down. There was no fixing it. There was no way to do it. But the price was significantly lower than everything else. Not as low as it probably needed to be. But everybody loved it. But all these people who were sending me the home, I'm just like, you're not going to want this home. Like, it's just, the price looks good, but it's just not.
It's the golf ball effect. You ever heard that? So I had a guy when I first got into the industry. He brought a golf ball to every single one of his showings. And at first I just thought it was, oh, this guy's really into golf. No. Every single house that this agent walked into, he set a golf ball in the center of the room, in every single room, to see if there was any sloping. If the golf ball rolled, then that's a concern. We need to look into that. We need to see what's going on. It might be something that they just didn't level the flooring properly, and maybe a subfloor is maybe lifting a little bit. Easy fix, no big deal. Or it could be something as simple or as serious as foundation settling, and it could be a big problem. So little things like that, and having an experienced agent is important, because there are things that as a consumer that aren't in houses every single day, looking at houses every day, can spot and keep an eye for. And if your agent isn't really walking through these properties with you and saying, hey, this is something to look out for, doesn't mean it's an issue, right? I'm not a qualified inspector. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a contractor. But from my experience in the past, this has turned into a problem in the future. Your agent, in my opinion, isn't bringing a lot of value to you. They're just opening doors, right? And unfortunately, I think a lot of the consumers think that agents are just door openers. Well, I'm not. I'm not just a door opener. I'm there to give you the good, the bads, the uglies, negotiate a contract, provide value through escrow, save you money on insurance, do whatever I can to make sure this transition is smooth. But then you're also going to be happy in the future, and we can build a lifelong relationship together.
You could train your 6-year-old niece on how to open a door. Opening a door is not difficult. It's all the things that come after. Not only what you're talking about in terms of seeing the property and seeing what maybe needs to be done in the property, but the entire transaction. I mean, showing a home is like opening a door, it's the smallest part of what we do.
It's honestly the simplest thing. To me, showing property is a massive benefit for clients to see what's on the market, but it's also a great downfall in a way. And the reason why I say that is because it might get them discouraged of, hey, we've been looking at our price point, our affordability point. It's not exactly what we're looking for. Talking about value, buying a house shouldn't be a sprint. It's a marathon. And I set that expectation to every single one of my clients. I have clients I've been working with for years, and we just haven't found the right opportunity. But I know the right opportunity will come up. So when clients go and see properties that maybe aren't fitting exactly what they're looking for, they're struggling to find what they want, that's okay.
I think we disagree a little bit.
And that's okay.
I think in general, I mean, look, the studies show that homeowners have a 43 times net worth compared to a renter.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things I see that stop people from getting into a home is wanting their dream home, as opposed to wanting the right now home.
Mm-hmm.
You don't start with your dream home. You might get your dream home in 10 years. You might
you're not telling me you're telling me I can't buy a $10 million house in Tahoe for my first home?
You're not going to get your dream home. It might not have the white picket fence. It might be a tiny little condo in
and that's
an area
okay.
that you don't like. But get in, because you're moving away from your rent going out the window every month. You're not getting anything back.
Mm-hmm.
To you're getting the tax benefits. You're getting the equity buy down. You can make improvements on your own time. You're getting, when you sell it in the future, you're going to have all this extra money to put as your down payment that you've been saving. And so these clients you've been working with for years,
they're already in an asset, by the way.
Okay. Like
they're looking for that next home.
Okay. So it's a little bit different when you're
Correct.
upsizing or downsizing, particularly downsizing. If you're older and you're looking for a downsized home that's going to be your forever home, yes, that's important. To be the perfect home. Yep. Because you're going to be there for a while. But if you're renting, just get into a home. It doesn't need to be the perfect home.
Do you want to pay someone's mortgage, or do you want to pay your own?
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on 50-year mortgages?
Stupid.
You think they're dumb?
Yeah. I mean,
tell me why.
Your payment barely goes down. It's
a couple $100.
That's
$200-$300 depending on price point.
$200-$300, assuming your interest rate is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Your interest rate on a 15-year loan is going to be significantly lower than on a 30-year loan,
mm-hmm.
because there's less risk to the bank. It's on their books for 15 years as opposed to 30 years. They don't know what 15 years is going to bring in terms of economic cycles. They certainly don't know what 30 years is going to bring, and so they need to charge a higher interest rate.
Absolutely.
And at a 50-year, you're probably going to be looking at a higher interest rate.
Where do you make your money on your investment? On an asset? If you're not renting it, of course. Investments are a completely different story. Where do you make your money if you were a first-time home buyer? Okay. Where do you make your money in your asset?
So I say for investments, I say that real estate is the ideal investment. IDEAL is an acronym.
Sure.
And it's pretty similar for whether you're an owner-occupant or an investor. You're really only missing one of them, which is the first one, which is the income. You're not getting income from the rents. But all the rest of them, the D, you're getting the depreciation on your taxes. E is the equity buildup. Every month you're paying down your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
A is the appreciation. Prices tend to go up over time. And L is the leverage, which is you having a loan on it, which is really the magic. I mean, some people aren't all about the leverage, but
I love the leverage.
It's the magic that makes everything go
up.
That makes it really.
So the biggest thing with 50-year mortgages that I think would be a benefit is the fact that it's going to create affordability for people, because we're in a housing crisis right now. Affordability is very tough for first-time home buyers. But the reality is most people are leveraging their asset through selling their asset in 5, 7, 10 years, whatever it is. So if you can get into a property sooner, quicker, build equity through that over the course of 7 years, and sell it, it doesn't matter if you have a 50-year or a 30-year. If it's creating affordability for people actually to buy assets and get into a property, I'm all for it. Okay. There's risks involved to that, of course, though. The common thing I've been seeing online is, oh my gosh, it's 50 years. I'm 30 years old. I'm going to pay off this mortgage when I'm 80 years old. The reality is the average lifespan on a loan is only 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why not make it more affordable for people to get into it? Okay. And then when rates go down, they can afford a 30-year or a 15-year. Then you refinance into something, but you're already in that asset. You're not competing in the market to purchase a property.
So I'll tell you why. And I think it's my general feeling about government intervention in the housing market in general is that anything they do in terms of trying to make homes more affordable ultimately makes homes
less affordable.
Because if affordability becomes improved and it's easier to buy a home, they were talking about giving different down payment assistances, and these are all things that sound really nice and it sounds great, but
they're a band-aid.
It doesn't help you if all of a sudden you get a $25,000 down payment assistance, but prices go up $50,000. That wasn't a help. And so if we're saying your monthly payment might go down by $200 a month, but all of a sudden if prices adjust, and so they're now $200 more expensive a month, that only helped existing homeowners. That didn't help the first-time buyer who it's intended to help.
Definitely.
Really, in my opinion, the only thing the government can do...
There's goods and bads to everything.
Yeah. I really think the only thing the government can do is get out of the way and allow home builders to build more homes.
Do what they need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of home builders, DNR Horton is killing it right now. I am very impressed with DNR Horton and what they're doing. During COVID, they purchased a whole bunch of notes, and they're doing so many incentives for first-time home buyers, just buyers in general, as far as lower interest rates, money at the closing table to help out with closing costs, and they're honestly providing a really good product for around $500,000, $500,000 to $600,000, honestly.
Even lower. They got those ones off Military Road in Lemon Valley instead. They're starting at like $450,000.
Yeah,
and
it's tough to find a resale property for $450,000.
For a brand new home.
Yep.
With closing costs that they're
lower interest rates.
Lower interest rates. I mean, if you want to be up there, if you're a reseller in that area, you're going to have a hard time selling your home because those homes are killer homes.
Yeah, I think out of all the builders in Northern Nevada right now, all the builders are great, but right now DNR Horton just has it going. Yeah. They've really figured out a way to move property, but at the same time provide a good product for buyers across the board. I mean, DNR Horton has all the way from townhomes, condos, all the way up to 3,000 square foot properties that are on a larger parcel. So I'm very impressed with what DNR Horton's doing for affordability. Lennar's been kicking butt. There's a lot of Toll Brothers new developments coming in. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen the new Toll Brothers development going in Verdi?
I did not. Did you see the new Lennar one down off like Veterans?
Yes. Yeah, lots of opportunity going on. Kylie Ranch, Wingfield, backside of Spanish Springs. We got some Blackstone homes. There's still a ton of development going on in our community, which is really good. I think our market, even if we saw a softening in the market nationwide, I do believe that our market will actually hold tight. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of tech companies coming here. USA Parkway has just been absolutely exploding with tech companies. And in my opinion, tech companies are bulletproof when it comes to a market recession or softening in the market. They're just creating jobs. They're creating jobs and opportunity for people, which means more people are going to be moving here. Our housing prices are going to be stable because these tech companies, even in a market trending downward, is still providing jobs and opportunity for people to pay their bills, because tech isn't going to go anywhere. If anything, it's just going to keep going.
There's so many jobs out there, not only in tech, a lot of it's logistics. Walmart has that big distribution center, and it's building everything up over there. There's tons of plumbers and electricians and construction workers that are building the infrastructure, and IT people doing the networking.
I mean, they're talking Google's not going to be done for years and years and years and years and years. They're only on what I think phase 3 out of I think 11, 10 or 11.
Okay.
So the reality is not only for our tradesmen, our blue collar boys, right? They're going to have jobs and opportunity for almost an entire career out here, let alone once those properties are developed and actually finished, we're just getting more and more and more job opportunities. So I think Northern Nevada right now, as far as an overall job security and market in general, we're going to keep growing.
And you're not only looking at jobs, you're looking at overall lifestyle. It's such a great place to live, between
it is
world-class skiing and the Truckee River and like hiking, fishing. I mean, people love living in Reno.
Yeah, I actually had a client come in from out of town, Bay Area client, come in, and they were talking, and just I was showing them around and just the different communities in Northern Nevada, and we just touched into Reno, Sparks, and a little bit into like Washoe Valley, Pleasant Valley area. And they were very impressed with just the overall housing. But then I started really diving into what Northern Nevada has to offer. Like, why should we move here is the question. Well, first and foremost, there's no state income tax. That's a big one. You got state income tax down in California that's 38%. I mean, you're giving away almost 40% of your income. Then we have all 4 seasons here. Okay. And they're not brutal seasons. In the summer, we maybe touch 100 degrees a couple days in the year. We have a full winter. The winter isn't brutal. If you want to go up into Tahoe, plenty of skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing available. But then when you come down into the valleys, Gardnerville, Minden, Washoe Valley, Reno, Sparks, if we do get snow, it's usually completely melted by the afternoon. So we get the full experience of winter, but then we also go into the summertime where it's 80, 90 degrees. We can go to the lake and enjoy ourselves. There's hunting, there's fishing, there's BLM, public land everywhere. I mean,
anywhere else.
I leave from my garage and I have millions of acres to go out and ride and enjoy the public land, which is awesome. I mean, truthfully, when you look at a big picture of across the country, I feel like Northern Nevada is one of the most incredible places to live, just because of not only economically with state income tax. We have a ton of opportunity for living on the outdoors. You're into the city. Well, Reno's right here. We're 2 hours away from Sacramento. We're 3.5 hours away from the Bay Area. We have it all. We just really do. I absolutely love it here. And I think we're just going to continue to keep growing as time goes on.
When I lived in Vegas, I used to say that a lot of the reason that people came there was for the economy. There's a lot of really great job opportunities with all the everything on the strip. I mean, you could be a bellboy in $1 million home, and that's crazy. That's just the reality down there. But people generally don't love Vegas so much for living there. It's hot. It's a very transient city. A lot of people don't even last a year. They'll
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
A lot of people.
They're all moving up to Northern Nevada.
They will go for 1 year and they get through that one summer and they're like, I am never doing that again. And there's not really the hiking. There's really no water sources for any, it's just not.
Really, you just have what, Mead? Lake Mead?
Yeah, you got Lake Mead. That's kind of it. But people go there for the economic opportunity, which has actually been wavering a little bit lately. All the online sports gambling seems to be hurting Vegas a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing their tourism's down a little bit, but it's totally different here. You know, we have those job opportunities that are even better. It's a more diversified economy with the industrial center, plus the casinos, plus everything else that's going on. Plus people actually enjoy living here.
Absolutely. They, the community's really involved too. I mean, there's constantly things going on. I mean, Gardnerville, Minden, they have Parade of Lights. They have Carson Valley Days every single year, where they have a huge carnival, and they have wine walks almost every single week in the summer. It's great. We've got Virginia City, the old western town. They're doing camel races. They're doing coffin races. There's a Virginia City Grand Prix, which is a massive dirt bike race that runs through the streets of Virginia City. There's constantly stuff going on up there. It's awesome.
I was just talking to someone yesterday who was looking to sell their house, and they were talking about their previous agent and how they wanted them to do open houses. And every weekend, the agent had an excuse of, oh, it's street vibrations this weekend, so we don't want to do it this weekend. Oh, there's a barbecue cook-off this weekend, so we shouldn't do it this weekend. It's this event.
Yeah, the rib cook-off.
Right, and
it's a
every
huge
weekend
one.
There was a different event, and there was always a reason
not
to do an open house, which is a different story, but there's always something going on here.
Yeah, it's great. The environment is awesome. There's always stuff going on. It's truly one of the cool things that that we do at the Allison Real Estate Group is all of our clients get an email once a week that goes out over the local events that are going on in Reno, Sparks, Gardnerville, Minden, Carson City, Virginia City, like just all over Northern Nevada. And we have a massive open rate on that. And I think it's because people come Thursday, Friday, they're like, what's going on? I don't know. So instead of having to Google it and trying to figure out what's going on, we have one email that really goes out and goes over absolutely everything going on.
That weekend there is so cool.
It is.
Even being so on top of everything, you can't be on top of every single thing. That really has so many different events in it. And I look at it myself and I enjoy looking at it.
And one of the things that bleeds into just things going on is the Allison Real Estate Group. We throw 3 to 4 client agent events every single year. It's so cool to see all these families come out. We make them family friendly, so everyone can come out. We barbecue. We go to Bowers Mansion. We can go swim. We do the ice skating rink. That's a fun little one.
I had a ton of fun at the ice skating.
Yeah,
I had a ton of fun at the pumpkin patch.
Yep, the pumpkin patch. I mean, we're constantly looking at opportunities to get families out of their house and enjoy Northern Nevada, because a lot of our clients are coming in from out of state that move here. They're calling me saying, hey, what's going on? What should we do? Well, Number one, our weekender email goes out every single week. So our relocation clients are finding opportunities and ways to enjoy this area. But then about once a quarter, we're doing something fun as well that they look forward to. It's a fun time. And then there's also some competition involved. We always have something going on that's competition related to get everyone involved in having fun. So it's pretty cool. So, well, Brad, I'm super excited for 2026.
Me too.
I'm excited to see you door knocking, doing social media, having fun, just doing your thing in general. I'm excited to see how the market is going throughout the year. I'm excited just to see where just everything is at in the year, and I've got a lot of plans for this year. I'm excited to see what's in store for you.
What are your big plans for the year?
Oh, I want to help 50 families this year. Not just 50 transactions. I want to help 50 families. I'm not very transactional related because the reality is I'm not here to sell transactions and just make money off of people. I thoroughly want to help people and help them in one of the biggest financial investments of their lives. So I want to be an advocate for that and help more families this year. I also want to go on a honeymoon, have some fun with myself. This last year, I worked a lot. I rebuilt a lot. Chelsea and I are off running, doing our thing. So I'm really looking forward to helping out a lot of people, help expand the team and coach agents to be successful in this business because we have one of the highest failure rates across the board for jobs and careers and business owners. So I get to play a part in helping people not fail in this business. So I'm looking forward to that. And just overall, just kicking back and thoroughly enjoying where I'm at. I've been doing a lot of grinding lately and just figuring my ways. And I'm finally settled into a place that I'm really happy in. And I get to help agents. I get to help families. And I also get to enjoy my life a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
So cool. I'll see you next week.